Good evening, traders. A very warm welcome. I am Devang Mehra from the Financial Analyst, and I welcome you to the price action module. In this video, we'll talk about trend lines and how we can use trend lines to get more profits. Now, in the previous modules, you have studied what? You have studied the horizontal support, you have studied the horizontal resistance, you have considered the breakouts out of them, and accordingly to trade them. Now, the problem with the horizontal levels is that is not enough. Why? Because in the horizontal levels, you are basically projecting that market will move in a range throughout the life. But as we said, that is not the case. Market will either move up or either move down. And you need some kind of projection on the technical charts to know where the markets can go. By drawing these horizontal levels, they are fine for a particular point of time. But if you're a long-term investor, or if you want to move with the trend, how do you know what the trend is and where things can move over a couple of sessions? So that is where the concept of trend line comes into play. Trend line is helping you to project where you can be in the future. It is giving a dynamic support. Let me show what an example of trend line and a horizontal line is. Horizontal support resistance are also called static support and resistance. They basically help you to move in a range, and they predict that things will remain the same over the future. What is a trend line? So let's say my stock is moving like this. Let's say my stock is moving in an uptrend. I'm getting a series of higher highs and higher lows. So in such a case, rather than drawing my horizontal lines, don't you think I can make a diagonal support like that, connecting all these lows? And this diagonal support, this is also called a dynamic support, or in technical terms, I can call it a trend line. Basically, when you have a trend going on, either up or either down, you can draw a trend line, and it's the exact same concept. Let me show some examples by hand, then we can come to the charts and see how they work. So for example, if we have an uptrend in the picture, then it becomes very simple. You join the lows, this will become your trend line. Support concept is same. You will take this as support, and market will always bounce from this point. Why? Because it is support. Rules are same. You need at least 2 times to be tested. If 2 times are successful, then even in the future you will bounce from here. Even in the future you will bounce from here. So it becomes a projection at any point of time where the share can be. So you can project through a trend line where your share can be at a particular date. At the same time, you can also draw a resistance. The support is in place. Even the resistance, if you join the highs, that gives you a resistance. So you are moving in this parallel channel. So if you are testing that same level twice, this means that if you come here in the future, you will get a resistance. If you come here, you will again fall down. So this is my supply zone. This is my demand zone, and it is how concepts work. Concept is exactly the same. Just like what we have done in the horizontal levels, the dynamic trend lines are also the same. The only difference is it is moving along with you, so it can give you a projection where you can be in a particular period of time. What we will be learning is how to draw trend lines and how we can combine our trend lines along with static levels to find better entries. So we'll see a lot of examples. Stay till the end so that you get a better hold of this concept. Let's look at an example of a downtrend. So let's say we are getting a downtrend in the market. Not a problem. Let's get a downtrend. So here you can see lower highs are being formed and lower lows are being formed. So it is a downtrend. It's very simple. What is your resistance? It's very simple. You join your highs and that will be your resistance. Now this is a dynamic trend line. So once two levels are being met, the third level automatically will be turning out to be resistance. At the same time, my dynamic support will come out to be this level. If I join my lows, the lower lows, I will get my dynamic support. So I am again moving in that support resistance range. The concept is same, but rather than moving straight, I am moving in a diagonal way, projecting where I can be in the future. Do the concepts of breakouts also apply here? Yes, they do. So let's say I am moving something like this in a trend line. So we'll take a very simple example. That's my trend line support. That is my trend line resistance. So for example, I break above the resistance. What do you call that? It's a breakout. So what is going to happen is you will come back, retest that resistance as support, and then you will head higher. And then you can form another trend line or a resistance, support resistance. The same concept is applying on the bottom also. If let's say this is my trend line channel, if I'm moving in this range for a long period of time, if let's say I'm breaking out, then this is a breakout, a resistance is being broken. So then markets will come back, test as support, and then they will try to head higher. So whatever they do, then we will try to predict that. Then we can draw another trend line and basically chopping out our movement where things can be planned. Same is the concept on the downside also. If let's say the price is moving in this range and markets, this is my support and this is my resistance, and let's say markets go below this, then what will happen is then the trend line support, it will become your resistance, and then markets will tumble. Same is the case on the downward channel also. Let's say I'm moving in a downward channel, and let's say this is my resistance. You can clearly see why I'm joining my 2 points. This is my support. So even if let's say this low is broken, then the support earlier will become my resistance, and then I can keep on moving down. That is called a breakdown. So the concept remains same and the testing points remain same. If the trend line resistance is broken, it will come to be tested at support. The only difference in both the concepts is, again, that is a static level. This is dynamic, moving along with you. So you have to use both of the concept similarly. How can you decide the targets here? Can you use that for targets? Yes, you can. Let's show another example. Then we will run into the live examples in the market. So let's say we are moving something like this in the market. And what happens is that's a resistance and that's a support. And what happens is that we break down. Once I break down, what will happen? I will come back to retest this trend line support and resistance. So if you are trying to go short, this will be the best area to go short. What will be the targets? Now, on the short side, target number 1 will be this low. Target number 2 will be this low. Target number 3 will be this low. Target number 4 is this low. I am basically using my previous levels as targets, just as we have taught you. Any historical levels, they do become targets. So all these historical supports, they will become targets. I hope you're understanding that. So when I sell here, I can get something like this, some movement like that. Another example on the downward side I can show you. Let's say I'm moving in a downward channel. And I'm moving in this downward channel. That's my resistance because points are being attached. That's my support. Now, let's say I'm breaking out. If I'm breaking out, that means I'm long on the market. Things have become bullish because you have broken out of the resistance. So now what you can do is target 1 will be this level, but first you will come back to retest the earlier resistance as support. Once you've done that, that's the best place to buy. What's the target number 1? Target number 1 will be this intermediary high. Then target number 2 will be this high. Target number 3 is going to be this high. Target 4 is this high, and target 5 is this high. I hope it makes sense to you. Let's do some examples. Try to combine horizontal levels. Try to combine trend lines so things become extremely clear. Okay. I'm going to backtest some couple of points so you can see. Let's look at this example. So you can see here, I'm not getting static levels, but if I join my highs and I take it over here, I get a trend line resistance, basically a falling resistance. I can again click on the trend line tool. I can also get a falling support. That is my parallel, basically trend line movements that's happening. And what is the plan? Once this level is broken, that means things are getting bearish. You will go short in the market. Why? Because the support is broken. What's the target in this scenario? Look at the previous level. You can see this level will become your target. Let's look at some more examples. Let's look at this example in the July 2020 month when the coronavirus, after the crash happened and things were recovering. What can you see here? You can clearly see that if I join these 2 points, everything else is automatically joined. This is my trend line resistance. All I have to do is join 2 points. Everything else will be automatically tested. On the support side, you can clearly see if I join 2 points, everything else is also joined. So I am moving in this range. So I can't draw horizontal levels here because things are moving on the trending side. That is why I'm drawing my levels. Yes, you can draw even your horizontal levels. Nothing wrong with that. We will see that later. Let's click on play and see what happens. I clicked on play. Can you see what happened? Markets broke out, and once it broke out, what happens? The resistance breakout means you are bullish and immediately shares go higher and you make money. I hope things become clear how to draw a trend line support and how to draw a trend line resistance. Let's look at some more examples and try to combine both the concepts so we can get a better understanding. Let's look at the charts of Ultratech Cement. Okay, this is the charts of Ultratech Cement. Let's try to draw our trend lines first. Can you see that the market for Ultratech is trending on the higher side? So if you try to join this low with this low, automatically everything else you can see will start to automatically join. If I join these 2 points, this point is joined as support, market takes support. When market breaks, it becomes bearish. So all these concepts come into play. This is my trend line support. Let us draw a trend line resistance. If I take this point and join it with this, automatically all the other points will be joined. How do I know that? You can see I'm getting resistance here, number one. You're getting a shooting star resistance here, number two. Even at the current market price, a red candle, meaning that level is still holding. These are my trend line levels. Now try to combine your horizontal levels also. What I mean by that is get your rectangles out and join your horizontal levels. So for example, this was a horizontal resistance. I hope why? Because you can see this is why where a stock is stopping. So this becomes my resistance and the concept is very clear. So you will be moving in this range now. You will be moving like this in the market. Why? The upward horizontal line is the resistance. The support is trending higher. So if you are breaking out, then you will come back, retest and go higher. What can be the upper limit? Now the upper limit is very clear. You have that trend line. So all the upper limits will be clear on the charts. So markets are now moving in this range and they take a support here. Then they again go higher. Where can they go? They can only go to this trend line. If this level is also broken, then what happens? Now let's look at some more examples. If this level is also broken, draw your horizontal levels. This was a horizontal level. Do you agree why I made this level? It's a resistance here. So 2 times being tested, it will hold true even in the future. So this level was quite important. You can see a double top kind of formation. And over here, there was a confluence of double supports. You were not only getting a trend line support here, but you were also getting a horizontal support. This was a very important region, should not have been broken, but it was broken. So what does this mean? Things are bearish. What will be the thing? You will try to go short in the market. You can see that once you break, you come to retest and then again you fall. What's the target on the downside? The earlier levels, they become the targets. Did you understand what I'm trying to tell you guys? I hope this is making sense to you. Let's look at some more examples. Ramco Cement. What I'm doing is I'm not doing anything special. I'm just joining my levels. That's all. You can see I have a trend line. You can see things are moving bullish in a bullish no zone. Join your two levels and drag your trend line. Comfortable. What else you can do is make your horizontal levels. You can see a resistance is coming here. That's my horizontal level number one. A resistance is coming here. That's my horizontal level number two. And you can see a resistance is also coming here. This is my horizontal level number three. These are three levels I can draw. Can I also draw a trend line? Yes, you can. Draw your trend lines. You join one point, join it with the other. Everything else will be joined. I have basically joined this level. You can join this level also, no problem at all. You can join something like this also. It's totally up to you how you want to analyze your chart. What I have done is I have joined this level with this intermediary high. So once I do that, everything else you can see on the charts have been joined. I'll just show you with a marker. I joined this level. I joined this level. Everything else has been joined. So now what is the strategy like in the market? It's very simple. Markets are moving in a range. Once they break out here, that's a first signal to go buy. That's a breakout. Till what height you can go? Only till this trend line resistance. Then again you start to consolidate in this range. So this helps us to make a range where markets can move in the coming future. This is what exactly the trend line concept is telling us to do. Again, when this trend line is broken, you will get a breakout. But once you break below the trend line, now what's the important point is what happens over here? The trend line support is broken. Can you see that this support, which was holding true for so long, has been broken at this point of time? So when a support is broken, what does it become? Resistance. And you can see very well, once broken, it becomes resistance. We were not able to go above that. Concept remains same, just a little bit of a different approach and things become very common. It obviously remains same in the intraday charts also. You can try it out. The concept is exactly the same. I will show you some examples later on in the course to help you out. Look at the chart of Siemens India. Okay, I've already drawn a level. It's my support, the support over here. Can I draw some trend lines? Yes, you can. You can see if you connect this highs with this highs, automatically you can see that the highs over here are also connected. Why? Because a trend line resistance was coming in and it automatically you can see the price stopped here. Number one. Also, I can see a resistance coming in over here. From this level, if I join this highs, you can see automatically this was also a resistance. How do I know that? Because I joined this point, I joined this high, automatically all these highs and this high also acted as a resistance just because of the trend line concept. So using this trend line, you can forecast where things are supposed to be. So over here, you can see you had a breakout. There was a resistance. You broke out of the resistance. What are the targets? Target number one will be this level. Exactly, you can see that target is achieved. Target number two is this level, the highs. Exactly, you can see the targets have been achieved. Nothing wrong in that. And over the future, how are things planned with Siemens? Siemens is moving in a range. That's the trend line now for Siemens. Siemens is moving in a good trend line on the upward side. Yes, there is also a resistance that is coming in. Join this high, automatically everything else is also joined. So Siemens was moving in this range. So once this range also breaks out, again go long. You can see breakout, retest, and target. Why is this a target? Because this was my previous trend line coming into the picture. Obviously, you will take some time with this. I will show you a lot of examples so you can get an idea, of how I am particularly drawing my levels. I have made another video for support and resistance training where I analyze 20-25 charts on how I draw my levels. But I hope that concept is clear. How I'm drawing trend lines and how the concept is clear. We are combining both the concepts and trading accordingly. Let's look at a couple of more charts. Page Industries. Okay, let's see what's happening in Page Industries. So if I look at the chart, what are you seeing right now? Draw your levels. Let's try to draw every level possible. Can you see this is my one horizontal level over here? These are the highs. So this will become one horizontal resistance. This is probably clear. What is another level that you're getting? Can you see a good trend line? If I join these two lows, can you see a trend line is dropping in? With these two lows, everything else gets connected. So Page Industries is expected to move in this direction in the long run. It is expected to follow this path. On the resistance side, can you see if I join these two highs, automatically everything acts. We are moving in this range. Page Industries, why is it getting resistance here? Because of the trend line concept. You couldn't have guessed that with the horizontal lines concept. So trend lines do play a very important part. So that's my forecast. It is moving in this parallel channel range right now. Now, since we have done the trend lines, let's try to analyze the horizontal levels also. This is one horizontal level coming in. Another horizontal level, which is very, very prominent, is coming in over here. I hope this is clear. So how can you analyze Page? So once Page broke out of this horizontal line, that's a breakout. Why? Because this horizontal level is broken. But how high can it go? This trend line will be stopping you. So now what is the plan? Page will move something like this, because that is my horizontal support, that is my diagonal resistance, etc. Now, if this diagonal resistance is also broken, then it is a breakout. We are heading towards 26,000 levels. So you will get some kind of resistance where from these levels, etc. Hope things are making sense. Let's look at the chart of Nifty. Why is Nifty stopping over here? Because if you zoom out of the chart, can you see if you join these two to three highs, automatically this is coinciding over here. So this will be a resistance because in the past, this level was giving you a resistance. So by using a trend line concept, you have forecasted where Nifty can be in the future, and it's actually holding up there. You can see a resistance, markets halting over that level. Correct? Also, you can see very well, if I forget about this, let's talk about the COVID times. If I join my lows in COVIDs, you can see how the trend line was also moving. This was the trend line in the COVID times, and markets were following this trend line all this while. I just joined 2 points and everything else followed. Once the trend line was broken, things got bearish, you retested and fell down. And I already told you, once the trend line is broken, what is the targets? Target number one is this. target number 2 is this. Exactly those levels were achieved, and exactly at those levels markets are bouncing back. So that is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Concept is very easy. You just have to practice. So what we can do is we can practice over the weekends in the live sessions. We can take in your doubts and we can study some more charts. On the resistance side, you can also see a resistance popping in over here. If I join 2 levels, everything else will join. So I just need to know 2 to 3 levels on the chart. Everything else is already forecasted where Nifty is expected to be. I hope things are making sense right now to you. So this is about trend lines. I want you to practice this concept and let me know if you have any doubts. If you do, we will take them up in the WhatsApp group or in our live discussion sessions. Thank you.